Hey everyone, I'm JP and welcome to Good Talk HQ. In today's episode, we're going to show you more than 20 new last-minute deals still on sale for the Cyber Monday and Black Friday holiday weekend. Then at the end, we'll recap with all of the other games under $5 that we've covered so far. So for those of you making that last-minute decision, you can just look down below in the description box for timestamps to whatever game you'd like to see. We've covered more than 100 games in the past couple days, and links to the other episodes will be down below as well. Be sure to check them out if you're looking for deals outside of that $5 price range. To the extended family, welcome back my friends. Thanks for rocking with us as always again today. I want to give a massive shout out to you all for sticking with us this weekend. I know it can be a bit overwhelming with all of the deals going on, so hopefully these videos have helped you narrow down your picks and ultimately found some great games on sale. And if this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. If you're a fan of saving money and gaming here on our favorite console, please consider subscribing down below to join our amazing group of game enthusiasts and deal seekers. We'd love to welcome you into the group, plus it will enter you in for the next Eshop gift card giveaway that we do at the end of each month. The winners for this month will be down below. Congrats Joker and Eros, much love to you both for the continued support. In fact, next month we'll do a special giveaway on top of the normal one for the holiday and as a way of saying thank you to the community. If you'd like to enter, all you have to do is be subbed to the channel and leave us a comment down below so we can find your name and add you to the current giveaway list. And with all that said, let's go ahead and jump in and try to save some money together. Stay safe out there my friends, and please enjoy the video. Alright, let's start off with the Amnesia Collection. It's a collection of scary games from the franchise brought to us from publisher Fictional Games, and the package offers more than 20 hours of combined gameplay with a 5GB download. In the collection you get Dark Descent, which puts you in the shoes of a young man named Daniel as you try to explore a desolate castle trying to piece together your memories. You also get A Machine for Pigs, which has you play as a wealthy businessman on a mission to save his children from imminent doom, and Justine, which is basically a series of twisted puzzles put together by a demented human being. If you're interested in the Amnesia Collection, be sure to pick it up before the sale ends on December 1st. It's marked down 90% to just $2.99, matching an all-time low. Azurebreak Heroes is a single-player action-adventure RPG offering a main story that should last around 3 to 5 hours to wrap up, with the download size around 420 megabytes. The game is shown from a top-down view with gorgeous pixel art graphics and great retro sound as well. It's basically a 2D RPG with roguelite elements and sees players battling otherworldly creatures, leveling up skills, searching for a way to escape this demonic world. There are 6 unique playable characters, random level layouts, and multiple endings, making this a great value at just $1.99 while it's on sale until December 13th. If you're interested in this one, be sure to grab it up before the sale ends. It's marked down 72%, matching an all-time low. Apple Knight is a single-player action RPG designed to be fun for gamers of all ages and has a download size of 280 megabytes with the main story that should last around 3 hours or so to wrap up. The levels are massive and have loads of secrets to find. There are quests and side quests, plus some pretty tough boss battles as well. The graphics are beautiful and there are weapon and armor upgrades to find, multiple difficulty modes, plus you have the endless mode which will add much more time to that 3-hour main story, making this an excellent value for fans of games in this genre. If you're interested in Apple Knight, be sure to pick it up before the sale ends on December 1st. It's marked down 75%, matching an all-time low of just $1.99. Blaster Master Zero is a single-player hybrid side-scrolling shooter mixed with a top-down adventure game from Inti Creates and has a download size around 360 megabytes and offers a main story that should last roughly 8 to 9 hours. The graphics are reminiscent of the NES 8-bit days, and in fact the developers used the original title from the NES as a foundation to build for this release. The side-scrolling levels have you controlling the Sophia 3, your trusty space tank, and when you enter a dungeon or other areas you'll exit the vehicle. That's when it switches to a top-down view and we play as Jason. There are item upgrades and weapons to find, plus epic boss battles as well. If you're interested in this one, be sure to pick it up again before the sale ends on December 1st. It's marked down 50% to just $1.99. Blossom Tales: The Sleeping King is a single-player retro-style 2D RPG from FDG Entertainment with the main story that would take roughly 10 to 15 hours to complete. Now the game is heavily inspired by older 2D Zelda titles, but it has plenty of charm and personality, making the game unique in many ways. The story is told in a unique way as well, and basically starts off with the grandfather telling his grandchildren a story which then transports us into the game itself. Players will set off to uncover the mysteries of the many dungeons and face off with powerful bosses on your mission to save the kingdom of Blossom from eternal darkness. If you're a fan of A Link to the Past or other RPGs from this era, the game will most likely be right up your alley. Blossom Tales is currently on sale for just $374, marked down 75%, matching an all-time low until December 1st. City of Brass is a single-player first-person adventure game from Uppercut Games. Now, some people have reported getting hundreds of hours from this title, and it's always been recommended by many of the viewers, so I had to pick it up and it runs amazing on the Switch. The maps are procedurally generated and Arabian Night themed, making for some outstanding exploration and some insane difficulty on occasion. Now, this one has a heavy trial and error aspect, but does a great job of rewarding you for learning from past mistakes. Players are armed with their trusty whip and a variety of traps as you work toward the heart of the city. This is definitely highly recommended, and if you're interested, please check it out before the sale ends on December 1st. It's marked down 90%, matching an all-time low of just $199. Don't Starve, the Nintendo Switch Edition, is a single-player survival adventure game from Klei Entertainment with a download size around 1.5 GB and a main story that is massive, taking more than 50 hours, upwards of 100 hours to complete, with side missions and more. In Don't Starve, we play as a young scientist named Wilson who has been trapped by a demon in a mysterious place full of dangerous creatures and harsh elements. You'll have to learn to adapt to and exploit your environment in order to escape and find your way back home. Now, the game starts off slow like many other games in this genre, but if you stick with it, it's very rewarding. If you're interested in Don't Starve, the Nintendo Switch Edition, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on December 1st. It's marked down 75%, matching an all-time low of just $4.99. The Fairune Collection is a package of 4 single-player games from Fly High Works, and they offer around 9 to 10 hours of combined gameplay, with the download size around 140 megabytes. In the collection, you get the original Fairune, which is a retro-style adventure RPG and sees players solving puzzles and working to seal away an ultimate evil. Fairune 2, which is just a bigger adventure but very similar to the original. Fairune Origin, which is similar in gameplay but tells the origin story, of course. And you also get the shoot-'em-up Fairune Blast, which offers players a different style of gameplay with their favorite characters still being featured. Now, these games have been overhauled and enhanced for the Nintendo Switch, so be sure to check out the collection before the sale ends on December 1st. It's currently matching an all-time low, half price, just $4.99. Ghostblade HD is a top-down shoot-'em-up from publisher East Asia Soft and is available for 1 to 2 players offline with a download size around 970 megabytes. The story isn't very long, but the game has plenty of replayability, making it a great deal. It features beautiful graphics, an outstanding soundtrack, and fun gameplay, especially if you have a friend to play with. There are 5 stages with epic boss battles and 3 difficulty settings, making it approachable for all players. There are 3 unique ships to choose from, in-game achievements, and some of the most fun arcade-style shoot-'em-up action you'll find on the Switch. If you like score-based arcade shooters, be sure to check out Ghostblade HD before the sale ends on December 1st. It's marked down 70%, again matching an all-time low of just $4.49. LIMBO is a single-player adventure game from Playdead Studios, the same folks that made Inside, and has a download size around 120 megabytes with a main story that should last again roughly 3 or 4 hours to wrap up. Now, just like Inside, the gameplay is very similar to Little Nightmares, but with a much darker monotone graphical aesthetic. The controls are amazing and the atmosphere set up by the eerie music and sounds is outstanding. Now, having played quite a few games in this genre, I have to say Playdead has mastered these games, and this one is just as good as any other out there. The puzzles and enemy encounters were amazing, and this is another highly recommended game while it's on sale until December 1st, marked down 80%, matching an all-time low of just $1.99. Mark of the Ninja Remastered is a single-player outing from Klei Entertainment, the same folks that gave us Don't Starve earlier in the list. It has a download size around 3.6 gigs and a main story that should last 15 hours or so to wrap up. Now, this is a 2D platformer with excellent controls, smooth animations, and a great soundtrack once again. The story is a bit on the lacking side, but the gameplay more than makes up for it as the kills are brutal and the gameplay is super engaging. I really like the simple yet extremely satisfying stealth system that's in place in the game, and one really neat feature is that you have the option to play in complete stealth or just go nuts and rush into battle. This is definitely a great game. Make sure to pick up Mark of the Ninja Remastered before the sale ends on December 1st. It's marked down 75%, matching an all-time low of just $4.99. Mighty Gunvolt Burst is a single-player 2D action platformer, again from NT Creates, and offers a story that should last roughly 6 to 8 hours with a download size under 100 megabytes. Now, this is a merge of 2 great games, the original Mighty Gunvolt and Mighty No. 9. It features fully revamped and updated game mechanics, deep character customization, along with the all-new Burst combo system. This rewards players for finishing off the enemies or bosses up close and personal. The pixel graphics have also been merged to create a unique blend of 8 and 16-bit, resulting in a really cool look here on the Switch. If you're a fan of the golden age of 2D action games, make sure to check out Mighty GUNVOLT Burst before the sale ends on December 1st. It's marked down 60% to just $3.99, matching an all-time low. Riptide GP Renegade. This game immediately reminded me of Wave Race 64 and Jet Moto from back in the day, and this one offers online play for up to 8 people, plus local co-op for up to 4 players. This is an excellent choice for people looking for something to play in both modes. Now of course your mileage will vary with this one, but the main story is substantial and will last roughly 6 to 8 hours to wrap up. It does feature an awesome career mode that is rich with story for those that like to play through these types of games solo, but again the main draw will of course be the multiplayer. You can even upgrade and customize your vehicles as well. If you're interested in this one, be sure to check it out before the sale ends on December 1st. It's marked down to an all-time low of just $2.99, which is a 70% discount. Rogue Legacy is a single-player 2D adventure platformer from publisher Cellar Door and is another great game offering 10 to 20 hours of main story gameplay. Now this is a roguelite style game where each run is about getting as far as you can, and the unique feature is that whenever you die or fail, your next run is carried out by your child. This adds a really unique spin on the genre, as each run your child is something completely different from the last one. It could have vertigo or be a dwarf, the possibilities are endless. This was a very interesting take on the standard format and really does add a lot of value to the title. The game is definitely very challenging but loads of fun to play and has excellent controls and animations. If you're interested, be sure to pick up Rogue Legacy before the sale ends on the 1st of December, marked down 70%, matching an all-time low of just $4.49. Smoke and Sacrifice is a single-player narrative-driven RPG from Curve Digital with the main story that will last roughly 15 to 20 hours to wrap up and has a download size around 1 GB. In this one, players have to craft items, fight monsters, and survive as you explore a huge open world in this beautifully hand-painted adventure with some unique characters, all of whom have a story to tell. Now the story follows a young mother who has to sacrifice her firstborn child to the Sun Tree, and sees players setting off on a mission to uncover the dark secrets of what's happened to her son. The game again features beautiful graphics and an outstanding soundtrack, plus the story is engaging and the controls are straightforward. If you're interested in Smoke and Sacrifice, be sure to pick it up. It's on sale until December 15th, marked down 75%, matching an all-time low of just $4.99. Super Mutant Alien Assault is an arcade platform shooter from Fellow Traveler and is available for 1 or 2 players in local co-op with a download size around 100 megabytes. In this one you fight your way through rapid-fire single-screen levels, each with random combination of platform layouts, objectives, upgrades, and enemies. One really cool feature is that the ship that you're defending is irradiated, so if you let the enemies stay alive too long, they'll begin to mutate into something new. It's really a cool feature, and you're in the middle of dodging and blasting your way through so many enemies sometimes that this can kinda be tough to prevent. Again, you can play the game solo or with a friend, which we always enjoy here at the channel, and if you're interested, make sure to check it out. It's again on sale until December 1st, marked down 80% to just $1.99, matching an all-time low. Titan Chaser is a single-player action-adventure game from Showstack Games and has a download size around 4 GB with the main story that will last roughly 2 to 3 hours to finish up. The game is basically a driving and walking sim where you have to go out and find these massive creatures and then research them and ultimately drive them away from your motel. Now there's no fighting or killing in the game, just amazing visuals and sound design. You also have a fairly large open world to explore. If you don't feel like worrying about the missions, you can just drive around and have a good time with the radio on, and it really is peaceful after a stressful day. If you're interested in Titan Chaser, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on December 1st. It's marked down 25% to just $3.74, matching an all-time low. Thumper is a single-player rhythm-based game from publisher Drool and offers roughly 10 hours of main story gameplay with a download size around 710 megabytes. Now this is another great rhythm-based game with fast-paced action, blistering speed, and absolutely one-of-a-kind visuals. Of course, the game's soundtrack is top-notch, as it would be sorely lacking without that, and immerses players as they soar down the endless track, crashing through obstacles on your way to confront a maniacal giant head from the future. Now this is a must-buy. I actually have it in VR as well. If you're interested in Thumper, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on December 1st. It's marked down 75%, matching an all-time low of just $4.99. Velocity 2X is a single-player title from publisher Curve Digital and blends 2 genres into one great game. Now part of the game is played as a vertical shoot-'em-up and the other is a side-scrolling platformer. We play as a young female protagonist that was captured by an alien race and has been altered with cybernetic modifications. After being set free, we'll use her unique talents to take on those who imprisoned us. The game is fast and frantic with an amazing soundtrack, a vibrant atmosphere, and over 50 levels that progressively increase in challenge and speed. With ranked leaderboards and the addictive nature of high-score type games, there's plenty of replayability here as well. If you're interested in Velocity 2X, you can grab it up on sale until December 15th, marked down 80% to an all-time low of just $3.99. Wandersong is a single-player 2D platformer with a heavy emphasis on music from Humble Games and offers a main campaign that lasts roughly 9 to 10 hours. The game actually has a download size around 2.3 gigabytes, and again, as I said, a heavy emphasis on music and singing. We play as a goofy young bard and have to use music to interact with things and people along our journey. Now, the game features an impressive cast of characters that you meet along the way, as well as some pretty neat little puzzles to solve and some of the most colorful graphics on any game that I've seen on the Switch. This one is actually pretty emotional and surprisingly good. Make sure to check it out as part of the sale, marked down 75% until December 1st. It's matching an all-time low of just $4.99. The Oniken and Odallus bundle. This is a dual pack of single-player nostalgic old-school platformers from developer Joymasher with a download size around 120 megabytes and offers more than 10 hours of combined gameplay. With this bundle, you'll get Oniken the Unstoppable Edition, which is a tough-as-nails platformer with 18 different levels and an optional boss rush mode. Plus, it offers multiple difficulty settings. You also get Odallus the Dark Call, which is much more action and exploration focused, offering some intense levels and boss battles and again a few difficulty settings. This is definitely a solid bundle to pick up if you're a fan of the 8-bit days. If you're interested, make sure to do so before the sale ends on December 2nd. It's marked down 75% to just $4.99. Next up, we have Omega Strike. This is a single-player 2D platform shooter from Digerati with a download size under 200 megabytes and a main story that should last roughly 5 to 6 hours to wrap up. This is one of our personal favorites here at the channel, and we've even played it live with some viewers a little while back. This is a great value, featuring a huge open-ended world and multiple playable characters. In the story, players will face off against Dr. Omega and his mutant army. You get to explore this vast interconnected world with 7 unique areas as you search for treasures to buy different upgrades. The game has great controls, the graphics and sound are top notch, but one particular highlight for us were the boss battles. They're challenging, unique, and the dialogue is often very funny. If you still haven't played Omega Strike, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on December 2nd. It's marked down 70% to an all-time low of just $4.49. Pixboy is a retro 2D platformer from Forever Entertainment and will take around 4 hours or so to wrap up with a download size under 200 megabytes. Now, this is an absolute retro arcade platformer stripped right out of the 90s. It looks, feels, and sounds like a retro game, but the coolest part, aside from the gameplay of course, are the graphics. You can actually find and collect over 20 different new graphical skins which change from Game Boy to Commodore 64 and many more. The game has more than 40 levels, hundreds of secret rooms, and of course some great platforming action. I like how the game is simple enough for my son to play, yet challenging enough for me to enjoy as well. Make sure to give this one a serious look before the sale ends on December 9th. It's marked down 60% to an all-time low of just $1.99. Phantom Doctrine. This is a single-player strategy RPG from Forever Entertainment with a download size around 6.5 gigabytes, offering more than 50 hours of gameplay. Now, this is a harsh and immersive story interweaving multiple historical events and characters to bring to life the reality of the harsh Cold War from a unique perspective. The game features next-gen turn-based combat for flexible movements and actions, an expanded battlefield allowing players to call in reinforcements, and again, a 50-plus hour campaign. There's a whole lot of value here, and if you're interested in Phantom Doctrine, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on December 9th. It's marked down 90% to an all-time low of just $1.99. Quest of Dungeons is a single-player adventure RPG from Upfall Studios with a download size around 75 megabytes and a main story that will last 6 or 7 hours to wrap up. The game features gorgeous 16-bit graphics and an awesome retro soundtrack. The combat is turn-based and the dungeons are procedurally generated, meaning that it never gets too stale. Now, there are 4 difficulty levels, but choose wisely as the game does have the dreaded permadeath and the boss battles can get pretty intense. The items and weapons that you find are also random, again keeping the game fresh, and each run is a little bit different. If you're interested in Quest of Dungeons, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on December 9th. It's marked down half price to just $4.49. Next we have Red Death. This is a single-player arcade-style vertical shooter from East Asia Soft with a small download size around 50 megabytes, offering unlimited hours of fun due to the high-score nature of the gameplay loop. This game is another intense bullet hell style game where you'll need fast reflexes and it will surely be a rage quitter. There are numerous weapons and upgrades to find, a few different game modes, including a fleshed out story, which actually serves as the prologue to Project Starship, and when you finish up that story, you can jump right into the action in arcade mode, which offers endless randomized challenges. If you're interested in Red Death, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on December 3rd. It's marked down 60% to an all-time low of just $199. Strikey Sisters is a brick breaker style game with a fantasy theme for 1 or 2 players in local co-op, with the main story that is quite substantial, clocking in around 4 to 6 hours, and a download size around 170 megabytes. Now this game is amazing, and while it's just a brick breaker at heart, it's cleverly disguised behind a wonderfully charming and engaging story with amazing pixel art graphics and even some cutscenes that looked great on the Switch. There's different difficulty levels, boss battles, power-ups, and collectibles, plus the game has so much replayability this is a no-brainer for under $3. The game actually has some of the best cheesy dialogue in any game on purpose. This is a must-buy. Right now you can pick up Strikey Sisters on sale for just $2.99 until December 9th. It's marked down 70% to an all-time low. Next we have Super Punch Patrol. This is a side-scrolling beat-em-up from Hornburg Productions with a download size around 150 megabytes and a main story that should last roughly 5 to 6 hours to finish up. The game also offers multiplayer action for 2 players in local co-op as well, making it a great value for fans of the genre. The game was made by the same creator of Gunman Clive and one of our favorite hidden gems, Mextermination Force. And this game doesn't disappoint, following in the tradition of high standard releases, featuring a pen and ink art style with brutal combat. Now this is definitely another rage quitter as it's tough as nail in some spots, but it pretty much does everything right. If you're a fan of classic beat 'em ups, make sure to check out Super Punch Patrol before the sale ends on December 1st. It's marked down 60% to an all-time low of just $199, and it's a steal at that price. Next up we have Super Chariot. This is another charming and cute platform game for 1 or 2 players in local co-op, offering more than 20 hours of gameplay, all of which was designed specifically for the Nintendo Switch to be played either by yourself or with a friend. The unique feature is that you have to drag along the wheeled coffin of the dead king through all of the 25 levels and the 5 different beautiful environments. The gameplay reminded me a lot of something like Yoku without the pinball mechanics, and there are a few different level types too, which was a nice change of pace from time to time. Plus I love how they implemented the puzzles to make use of the cart. I thought it was a pretty fun game to experience. If you're interested in Super Chariot, make sure you grab it up before the sale ends on December 11th. It's marked down 87% to just $199. Next we have They Bleed Pixels. This is a single-player 2D action platformer with a download size around 295 megabytes. The game comes to us from Spooky Squid Games Incorporated and offers a main story that should last roughly 12 to 15 hours to wrap up. The story itself centers around a young female protagonist struggling with her inner demons, and the game does a great job of balancing acrobatic platforming with simple one-button combat systems. However, the game also rewards players for using more cleverly timed and precise attacks in rhythm with the beat of the soundtrack. It also has checkpoints that you can use like an item, and this gives you the freedom to place them wherever you like during the levels. The game looks nice, feels great to play, and it sounds amazing as well. This is definitely recommended. Make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on December 7th. It's marked down 87% to just $199, which again is an all-time low. Toki is a single-player action platformer that offers players an old-school arcade feel and is accessible for anyone regardless of age. It has a download size around 700 megabytes, and the main story isn't very long, only lasting a couple hours, but the game itself is incredibly fun to play. Now this is a remake of a classic arcade game from the 80s and has been entirely overhauled for newer fans, featuring lush environments to explore, hand-drawn art and animations, awesome music, and of course, like I said, that classic arcade feel. But there's even an easy mode for younger players as well. This is a nice addition as the original game was incredibly tough as it was designed to take your quarters, of course. If you're interested in Toki though, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on December 11th. It's marked down 85% to an all-time low of just $199. Towaga Among Shadows is an action-adventure game from Forever Entertainment with a download size around 1.3 gigabytes and a main story that should last roughly 3 or 4 hours to wrap up. The game is available in local multiplayer for up to 4 players as well, making it a great option for those looking for something to play with their friends. Now this is a fast-paced game featuring wave-based combat with over 60 intense levels. You have spells and different skills that you have to master and upgrade, 4 different game modes, gorgeous graphics and sound inspired by animated movies. Plus, as we said, you can play with up to 3 other players in local couch co-op. All of these things make this an amazing value, and it's currently on sale until December 9th, marked down 85% to just $224, which is an all-time low. Next up, we have the Aquatic Adventure of the Last Human. This is an underwater single-player adventure title from publisher Digerati, offering a main campaign that should last roughly 5 hours or so to wrap up. The download size is around 210 megabytes, and this is technically classified as a Metroidvania, but to me it's more of a boss rush. Now some areas are progression gated, but to me, like I said, it feels more like a boss rush. In the game, you spend a lot of time exploring somewhat empty areas while avoiding environmental hazards until you get to the next boss. Now the bosses themselves are amazing and they can be kinda challenging, but by the end of the game they never felt unfair. Again, the game looks and sounds great on the Switch, with the music being a particular highlight for us. And right now the game is on sale for just $389, marked down 70% to an all-time low until December 2nd. Next we have The Great Perhaps. This is a single-player puzzle platformer from Dragus Games, with a download size around 2 GB and a main story that should last roughly 3 or 4 hours to finish up. Now this game is all about time travel and incorporates this mechanic into puzzles that you have to solve as you progress through the story. The game is set in a post-apocalyptic world and features an emotional story with memorable characters along the way. The soundtrack even changes based on the choices and events that unfold during each different playthrough. Now this is another game that's part of the secret sale and available for just 49 cents if you own any of the other games from the developer. Otherwise, the game is on sale until December 6th, marked down 70% to just $2.99, and it will unlock the discounted price for the other games as well. The American Fugitive. This is a single-player action title from Curve Digital that offers a main story that will last roughly 10 to 15 hours to wrap up. This is a great game and basically a top-down GTA with a beautiful 3D world. It's a modern take on the classic sandbox-style game featuring destructible environments, epic car chases, and a massive open world inspired by the 80s, and a great story about crime and corruption. Now just like with GTA, the story kind of plays a backseat to the exploration and side quest oftentimes, but that only adds to the value in my opinion. If you're interested in American Fugitive, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on December 15th. It's marked down 90% to an all-time low of just $1.99. Next we have the Arcade Classics Anniversary Collection. This is a collection of several games from Konami Digital Entertainment that offers local multiplayer for 2 players with a download size under 300 megabytes. In the bundle you get 8 classic games ranging from puzzle games to shoot 'em ups and even an arcade version of Castlevania, which is what hooked many of the longtime fans in so many years ago. One of my all-time favorite games, Thundercross, is here as well, and it's one of the most iconic shoot 'em ups of all time. With the added options to make things a bit more convenient, this is a must-buy in my opinion, and if you agree you can pick it up until December 1st, marked down 75% to just $4.99, matching an all-time low. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon is a single-player 2D action platformer from Inti Creates and offers roughly 5 to 10 hours of main story gameplay. Players will have to explore dark lands and slay tons of demons in pursuit of the most powerful demon, who is lurking inside of a dark castle. The game allows us to play as multiple different characters along the way, and each of them are unique enough to keep the game feeling fun and fresh. Now depending on the party you create, it can actually affect the story and the ending as well. Both games are currently on sale, and they offer amazing retro gameplay, and if you're interested in the first title, make sure to pick it up before December 1st. It's marked down 50% to an all-time low of just $4.99. Blaster Master 02 is another single-player action platformer, again from Inti Creates, and offers around 10 hours of main story gameplay. These games are hybrids of side-scrolling and top-down action, and this time around the story is even bigger than before. Shortly after the events of the first game, Jason and Eve set out on another adventure into the depths of space, this time armed with their brand new battle tank and all new abilities. It really is just a continuation of great things from the first game, and you really should play the first one. They're both on sale, but the story does rely heavily on you knowing the first. Now you can pick them both up until December 1st, marked down half price to just $4.99, which is an all-time low. Next we have BroForce. This is a 2D run-and-gun shooter with gorgeous 16-bit retro graphics from publisher Devolver Digital and features both local and online multiplayer action as well. This is a love letter to classic action cinema from the 80s and has a simple premise. Each level you're tasked with blasting your way through challenging but fair obstacles and baddies as you make your way to the chopper at the end of the level. Now the stages themselves are nearly fully destructible and add a unique level of freedom to how you complete each mission. I also like that they included a level editor so you can make your own levels and then share them online for others to enjoy. If you're interested in BroForce, be sure to grab it up before the sale ends on December 1st. It's marked down 75% to an all-time low of just $374. Next we have the Castlevania Anniversary Collection. This is a classic collection containing 8 games plus some bonus goodies from Konami, and this time the games are all single player titles. Now these are some of the most famous and infamous games in history. It was introduced as part of the Konami 50th anniversary celebration and features the first several games in the franchise that has always been a fan favorite. This is a perfect way for newcomers to jump into the games from the beginning, and for longtime fans, as it's a great collection to feed that nostalgic feeling from days past. The inclusion of the ebook with a bunch of lore and art is a cherry on top. If you're interested in the collection, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on December 1st. It's marked down 75% to an all-time low of just $4.99. The Contra Anniversary Collection is also on sale until December 1st at 75% off, again for just $4.99. And this is another amazing package of games, this time with 10 to pick from, with multiplayer action for 2 players as well. Of course, most of us know Contra to be one of the most amazing games from the arcades and early home console days, and no question they're absolute rage quitters for sure. But again, this collection is another must-buy when you can find it on sale, and again, this is a great way for modern gamers to hop into one of the gaming's most iconic franchises. Make sure to grab it up, again it's on sale for just $4.99 until December 1st. Duke Nukem 3D World Tour is an old school shooter from Gearbox Software with the main campaign that should last roughly 10 to 12 hours to wrap up. Now this is a collection of all 4 previous chapters as well as the all new 5th chapter that was created by the same team that made the original game. The Switch version has enhanced features like gyroscopic aiming, motion controls, HD rumble, and more. Plus the game has online deathmatch as well, making this a great game for both fans of solo games as well as those looking for some online PvP. This is one of the first games we ever covered on the channel, and we love it. Highly recommended as it's currently on sale for 75% off to a new all-time low of just $249 until December 1st. Next we have Far Lone Sails. This is a single-player adventure platform from Mixed Division and offers roughly 3 hours of main story gameplay. Now this is an absolutely beautiful game on the Switch and has amazing art and animations, plus the music really helps to set the atmosphere as you really do start to feel alone with just you and your trusty machine to get across this vast nothingness. Our journey takes us across a dried out seabed where we have to learn to maintain and repair the massive vessel that we're traveling in. Again, this game is all about atmosphere and story. If you're interested in Far Lone Sails, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on December 1st. It's marked down 75% to an all-time low of just $374. Next we have Gunman Clive, the HD Collection. This is a package of 2 single-player 3DS indie titles from Horberg Productions, and they have quickly become one of our favorite indie developers. Now this one takes place in the Wild West, and the streets have been overrun with outlaws. One particular group of bandits has kidnapped the mayor's daughter, and it's our job to save her and put an end to the crime going on in town. These are old school side-scrolling platformers, and they feature some of the coolest boss battles in any game. If you liked Mechtermination Force or Super Punch Patrol, give this one a shot as it's another great game to add to the collection. Great job once again from the developer, and it's on sale until December 1st, marked down 60% to an all-time low of just $199. Next up we have Hob the Definitive Edition. This is a single-player 3D action platformer from Runic Games with the main story that should take players roughly 10 to 15 hours to complete. The gameplay is very similar to Zelda titles and features a story with pretty much no dialogue whatsoever. Now the original version was apparently really hard to navigate, but this version on the Switch has been improved with better menus and a more guided story so players will remain engaged. You explore and solve puzzles in each area in order to progress to the next. This causes the world to begin to shift and change, and it's so fun to watch. If you're interested in Hob the Definitive Edition, we did a gameplay spotlight recently and it's on sale until December 1st, marked down 85% to an all-time low of just $299. Horizon Chase Turbo is a fast-paced arcade racer, available for 1 to 4 players in local co-op, and has a main story that should last more than 15 hours to wrap up. But of course the game is mostly about the multiplayer for many people, and this one excels in that area. It was inspired by the great racing games from the 80s and 90s with bright retro graphics, excellent audio both in the soundtrack and the game sounds. Featuring World Tour for the longer play sessions or tournaments for shorter ones, and an ever-changing playground mode that updates regularly, there's something for every fan here, and it's a great value. Right now you can pick up Horizon Chase Turbo for 75% off, marked down to just $4.99 and all-time low until December 1st. Inside is a single-player puzzle-style adventure game from publisher Playdead, and while the story will only last a couple of playthroughs at maybe 3 or 4 hours, this is an absolute must-buy. Now you start off like many of the other games in this style, alone and with no rhyme or reason as to why you're in your current situation. Hunted and alone, you play as a young boy who finds himself on the run from a dark experiment with human subjects. The game plays like Little Nightmares, where you'll move along a 2D plane and interact with different objects to manipulate your surroundings. Now the final act is unbelievable and I don't want to spoil it. Make sure to grab this one up before the sale ends on December 1st. It's marked down 90% to an all-time low of just $1.99. Next up we have Moon Hunters. This is a party-style RPG from Kit Fox Games with a main story that should last around 6 or 7 hours to wrap up. The game is available for up to 4 players in local co-op and allows the player to create their own legend. The game world is different every time you play, but it's always infested with monsters and other baddies all trying to eat you. When the moon fails to rise, we set out either solo or with some friends to uncover the reason why. With limited time before an invading army takes over, we have no choice but to hurry. Now this version also includes all of the DLC as well. If you're interested in Moon Hunters, be sure to pick it up before the sale ends again on December 1st. It's marked down 87% to an all-time low of just $1.99. Next we have Namco Museum Archives Volume 1. This is another collection of classic games from Bandai Namco and again offers multiplayer action for 2 players. Now with this one you actually get 11 games, some of which were never released here in the West, plus an all-new game that premiered with the release of this collection. Again, this one has updated mechanics and quality of life features that make it much more accessible for gamers of any age or generation. In fact, it has Pac-Man, which was originally why I bought it for Little Man, and then of course the underground fan favorite Splatterhouse, along with many other great titles. If you're interested, be sure to grab it up before the sale ends. Both 1 and 2 are marked down 75% to all-time lows of just $4.99. OkunoKA Madness is a single-player arcade-style platformer from Ignition Publishing and offers hours and hours of action due to the arcade mechanics of the game. The art and animations are amazing and there's tons of secret content to unlock as well, making this a great value when on sale. Now this is another one of those ultra-challenging platformers, so be prepared to find your happy place if things get a bit too frustrating. There are over 100 levels and different game modes including speedrun options, plus you can even unlock new playable characters as well. If you like Super Meat Boy or any of the many different games like it that have come since, this is a solid option and currently on sale until December 1st, marked down 80% to an all-time low of just $2.99. Rad is a single-player 3D action-adventure game from Bandai Namco Entertainment with a main story that should last roughly 7 to 8 hours, but there's a lot of replayability, so you'll probably get way more than that from the game. This one's set in a post-apocalyptic world where humanity has faced Armageddon twice, and we play as a young protagonist forced to venture out into the unforgiving and ever-changing radioactive world. This of course can wreak havoc on the fragile human form, and this is the game's most unique feature. You can mutate into any number of hideous Frankenstein-type monsters as the toxins wreak havoc on your body. You'll become perhaps a bit less attractive, but far more powerful. This is a truly wild game and worth checking out while on sale until December 1st, marked down 75% to an all-time low of just $4.99. Next up we have Ruiner. This is a single-player action-adventure title from Devolver Digital that can take more than 10 hours to complete. Now Ruiner is a brutal action shooter set in the distant future, played from a top-down view. The game has the same fast-paced action and intense moments as something like Hotline Miami, only with a beautiful 3D environment. The game also has a specially crafted soundtrack that for some is enough to justify the purchase alone. If you're interested in Ruiner, make sure to grab it up again before the sale ends on December 1st. It's marked down 75% to an all-time low of just $4.99. Next we have Skulls of the Shogun, Bonafide Edition. This is a fast-paced turn-based strategy game sort of fused with a fighting game from Gollum Entertainment and offers unlimited hours of fun as it has both local and online multiplayer options for up to 4 players. The game also has 24 action-packed levels, different playable characters, beautiful hand-drawn art and animations, and an amazing soundtrack as well. Plus the story is loaded with humor throughout and definitely entertaining. The main draw of the game though will be the multiplayer, and if you're interested in this one, make sure to check it out again before the sale ends on December 1st. It's marked down 80% to an all-time low of just $3.99. The Flame in the Flood Complete Edition is a single-player adventure game with a pixelated aesthetic and a transformative soundtrack. Published by Curve Digital, this game offers a main story that will last more than 15 hours. In this one you travel both on foot and by raft as a young girl with her canine pal down a procedurally generated river. Players will need to gather materials, craft tools, and keep themselves in good health in the harsh wilderness. You also have to learn to deal with the wildlife as well, as not all animals that you come across will be friendly. The Switch version features all of the enhancements that were made over time, and the game is definitely worth checking out while on sale until December 15th, marked down 80% to an all-time low of just $2.99. Next we have Trine 2: The Complete Story. This is a magical puzzle platformer from Frozen Byte Entertainment and available for 3 players in both local and online multiplayer. This is a direct continuation of the story from the original and features 20 plus amazing levels full of awesome physics-based puzzles to solve. There are 3 playable characters. Of course, the wizard, the knight, and the thief all make their return and each offer a unique feel to how they play. With more than 12 hours of main story gameplay plus the online multiplayer, this is a great option when on sale, and right now you can get it at an all-time low until December 1st, marked down 75% to just $4.24, and it's another one we highlighted here recently on the channel. Binarystar Infinity. This is a 1-bit shoot 'em up from Forever Entertainment, available for 1 or 2 players in local co-op, and will take players roughly 2 to 3 hours to finish up. The game has 8 exciting missions, each culminating in a unique and challenging boss battle at the end. The most unique feature though is the ability to play in either horizontal or vertical modes on the fly. This mechanic is so much fun to mess around with, and it was incorporated flawlessly. The color scheme really pops here on the Switch, so once again I bet this is a game that looks amazing on the OLED. If you're interested in Binarystar Infinity, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on December 9th. It's marked down 50% to an all-time low of just $2.49. Next we have Canarium. This is a single-player adventure game with stunning visuals from Iceberg Interactive. The game has a download size of around 4 GB and a main story that should last 3 or 4 hours to wrap up. We play as a man named Frank, and we've lost all of our memories, so we have to investigate a giant base in Antarctica to try to uncover what happened. The graphics, as I said, are gorgeous, and the soundtrack adds a level of immersion to the gameplay as well. Plus, the different puzzles you encounter or the riddles that you'll need to solve to progress all make sense, so you shouldn't get lost or stuck too often. If you're a fan of Lovecraftian lore, or this game looks interesting to you, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on December 1st. It's marked down 75% to an all-time low of just $4.99. Death Tales is a dark and whimsical 2D action platformer from Arcade Distillery and offers roughly 5 hours of main story gameplay. The download size is around 800 megabytes and it offers local co-op for 2 players as well. In this one, players will embark on an adventure to collect equipment and spells, learn powerful attacks, and fight off hordes of enemies. There are more than 25 amazing levels that have been designed beautifully, loads of side quests, and even a shop that changes daily where you'll be able to spend the souls that you collect along the way. The game also has daily bounties as well, where you'll be able to hunt down some amazing bosses. As I mentioned, the entire game can be solo, or you can team up with 2 players for multiplayer action as well. If you're interested in Death Tales, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on December 6th. It's marked down 80% to an all-time low of just $1.99. Next we have Dwarf Journey. This is a single-player 2D platformer with a retro look and sound from Orub Game Studio and offers roughly 4 to 5 hours of main story gameplay. The download size is around 300 megabytes and the main story centers around a warrior seeking a powerful artifact in a mystical cave that will grant him eternal life. Now this is an action platformer with new challenges every time you play, as the levels are procedurally generated. As you defeat the enemies and bosses, you'll earn experience to level up and open up new paths that you can then explore. The boss battles are pretty tough and a lot of fun, but with the level design, sometimes you'll run into them a little bit too early and just get stomped. If you're looking for a solid platformer, make sure to check this out before the sale ends on December 7th. It's marked down 60% to an all-time low of just $3.19. Next up, we have Golazo. This is a wild sports title coming to us from Purple Tree and offers unlimited hours of local couch co-op for up to 4 players. The download size is roughly 1.1 gigs. Now Golazo is a no-holds-barred, no-rules, all-out chaotic football game with more than 50 different teams to choose from. Plus, the game has some custom visual options that give you that true retro arcade feel from decades past. There are a couple different game modes as well, plus optional power-ups to add some mayhem into the action. If you like old-school classics like Goal from the 8-bit days, I think this might just give you that nostalgic feeling. If you think this is for you, make sure you grab it up before the sale ends on December 1st. It's marked down 73% to an all-time low of just $3.99. Hard West. This is a single-player adventure RPG from Forever Entertainment with the main story that should last players roughly 20 to 30 hours to wrap up and a download size of around 5.5 gigabytes. The game features a unique open world set in the Wild West, compelling turn-based squad combat with a wide array of weapons and upgrades, a story that is affected by your decisions throughout, oh yeah, and there's magic as well. See, this version of the Old West has magic, cults, and spells to go along with the standard weaponry. One really cool feature is the ability to ricochet bullets around obstacles by shooting at something metal. If you're interested in Hard West, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on December 9th. It's marked down 90% to an all-time low of just $199. Alright folks, that's going to go ahead and wrap up today's video. Today is the last day for the sale, so remember, make sure to go out there, get your last minute decisions in, and happy hunting. If you made it to the end of the video, as always, you know you're legendary. We appreciate you. Thank you for giving us a little bit more of your time today. Once again, I'll have links down below for all the other videos that we covered for the Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales in case you missed out. Thank you to everybody for watching, and if this was your first time on the channel, remember that we do eShop gift card giveaways to our subscribers every month. All you have to do to enter is just hit that button down below and leave us a comment so we can find your name and add you to the list. This was a long video, so I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Please stay safe out there, my friends, and as always, we'll let Little Man take us home. Bye, everyone.
That's all for today's list. We hope you liked the video. If you did, consider subscribing and liking down below. Okay, bye!